My name is Bob McQuillan from Geneva. And Fred, I've lived here 70 years less than you. I have two comments this evening. First might help a little bit with the busing questions that we have. According to the latest school report cards, Batavia, which has 6,337 students versus Geneva's 5,962, or as Fred just said, a difference of about 400 students. Their busing costs them $394.08 per student. We just heard that ours was $513 per student, or about 20% higher than Batavia. And I know you can't compare apples to oranges, but it should be pretty close as far as geographic measure. That's a 20% higher rate based on a $9 million budget for busing. That's $1.8 million in savings. How many teachers could that buy us? Secondly, the presentation on the operating budget was just that, the presentation on the operating budget, not on the total budget. The total budget includes restricted funds, which are the debt that we pay back, which is to the tune of a proposed $14 million, according to the district's own numbers, and also tort, which is to the tune of $0.9 million. If you add those numbers to the operating number, you get a revenue of $88.8 million and an expense of $91.04 million. My math brings that to a deficit spending of $2.4 million. The total budget for this school district for next year, according to my math, according to the numbers provided by the district, is a deficit spending of $2.24 million, not a surplus of $130,000. Thank you.
Yes, I did, because you're looking at the total budget, Mr. McQuillan. Part of that expenditure is $6.6 million in site construction. We do not have any revenue coming in on site construction because it came in several years ago under the referendum issue that was done for the new buildings. But yet we have carryover expenditure, so that inflates the expenditure versus the revenue.
I didn't include site construction.
You said total budget.
Total budget. I said total budget included the debt and the tort. And I added those two together, $14 million, which I said, plus $0.9. Okay. There's nothing in there. In your own budget. In your own budget, you don't have anything in for site.
Yes, I do.
It's not on your sheet here.
Because
capital projects, you have $70,000.
That's because
that's revenue.
What you're looking at
no expenditure.
What you're looking at are operating funds.
Okay, operating funds?
Operating funds don't include site construction. They also
you just said you have it in here. Isn't it capital projects the same as site development?
No.
Well, where is you don't have it on your sheet. I took this right from your website.
If you bring it up here, I can show it to you. This is your made Excel spreadsheet. This is not your.
It took the titles right off your.
But you don't have the expenditure in there for the capital projects. Or the. Yes, it is.
Are you in a deficit spending of $2.42 million next year? Total budget.
For total budget, yes.
Thank you. That's all I want.
as much as the expenditure is to bring their balance down. If you'd like me to levy more dollars, I can. And I'm also not levying in Tort because those dollars are going.
My statement was your deficit spending is $2.24
It is,
million.
but that's because.
Is that correct?
Yes. Because,
Why didn't you present that?
Because I presented operating budget, not the total budget. Because we go off of the operating budget. The restricted funds are restricted.
So where's your $14 million going to, where do you get that money to pay your debt then?
We get that from the levy, from the tax levy.
From tax dollars.
From tax dollars that are levied by the county clerk, not by the district.
Well, you don't think it's important that the taxpayers should know that they were paying $12 million more than what you had up on that sheet?
I explained that in my presentation. I explained it in restricted funds when I explained restricted funds.
Donna, can you explain what you explained to me earlier about how our site and our bonded interest was deferred from June 30th to January to July 1st this year when you put it into a separate budget year, please?
The bank that holds our bonds, that we make our bond payments to, we normally make our bond payment, the July 1st payment, on June 30th. They had called us and asked us to hold the bond payment until July 1st, which put it into the next fiscal year. So that inflates the expenditure for this fiscal year.